1966, in the small Welsh village of Aberfan. The village was peaceful, close-knit, and ordinary in the most beautiful way. Parents walked their children to school, exchanged brief smiles, and returned home believing it would be just another normal day. Children entered Pantglas Junior School laughing, chatting, carrying books and hopes, completely unaware that within minutes, their lives would be erased from history. Above the village loomed a mountain scarred by decades of coal mining. At the top of that mountain sat massive piles of coal waste, known as slag heaps. They had been placed there for years, slowly growing larger and more unstable. The villagers had warned authorities repeatedly that the waste tips were dangerous, especially during heavy rain. Letters were written, complaints were filed, and concerns were raised in meetings. Every warning was ignored. The night before had brought relentless rain. Water soaked deep into the coal waste, turning solid ground into a heavy, unstable mass. By morning, the slag heap was no longer safe. At 9:13 a.m., children were seated at their desks. Some were writing. Some were whispering. Some were waiting for the teacher to begin the lesson. Parents had just arrived home after the school run. The village was settling into its usual rhythm. At exactly 9:15 a.m., a deep rumbling sound echoed from the mountain. It was not thunder. It was not an explosion. It was the sound of the earth collapsing. Over 100,000 tons of coal. Waste suddenly broke free and surged downhill at terrifying speed. Witnesses later said it sounded like a jet engine tearing through the land. Others said the ground shook beneath their feet. In less than 30 seconds, the black avalanche crashed into Pantglas Junior School and surrounding houses. The school was completely buried. Walls collapsed instantly. Windows shattered. Mud, coal, and water flooded classrooms without warning. Children had no time to scream, no time to run, no chance to survive. Teachers tried to shield their pupils with their own bodies. Some were found later, still protecting the children they had sworn to care for. Parents heard the noise from their homes and ran towards the school. They ran screaming their children's names, knowing in their hearts that something unimaginable had happened. When they reached the site, there was no school left to save. Only a mountain of black mud stood where their children had been moments before. An unbearable silence filled the air, broken only by crying and disbelief. Rescue efforts began immediately, but there were no machines at first. Villagers dug with bare hands, shovels, and broken tools. They pulled out school bags, small shoes, coats, books, and then the bodies of children. Some were found still sitting at their desks, some holding pencils, some holding hands. Parents were asked to identify their children. Many collapsed before they could speak. Martha,